Hello and welcome to the next presentation of the second edition of the A4Q World Congress. I have the pleasure to host a session with Benjamin Timmermans, who is going to talk about the ISTQB Expert level. Benjamin is a very experienced and, well, I would say famous trainer based in the Netherlands. Don't laugh at this. Working for improved quality services. He has more than 20 years of experience, of training experience in various fields, so covering quality in IT, requirements engineering and testing, for which he is accredited for several courses on foundation, advanced, but also expert level. And about the latter, he is going to talk about in his presentation with the title, The Next Level ISTQB Expert Level. He will explain what there is in terms of expert level, for whom it is, and what's the added value. Since he ran already several of these expert level trainings, he can share experiences from both sides, from the trainers and the trainees, but also from both the ISTQB expert level courses, which are named Test Management and Improving the Testing Process. So a very interesting topic, another one now with the expert level. And I really look forward to hear more about that. If you have questions during the presentation, please use the chat, leave your comments and questions. At the end of the session, we will get back to that during the Q&A part. So don't be shy, put your comments, questions there. And with this, I'm already handing it over to the expert, to Benjamin. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica, for that nice introduction. I've never been called a famous trainer in the Netherlands, but I like that. Like the sound of that. Thank you for asking me back. The last time I talked about as a training provider during Corona times. This time I'm going to talk about ISTQB expert level, the highest level there is on ISTQB testing courses. And I'm going to talk about several topics which Erica already explained about what there is, what makes it different for whom and why, added value and stuff like that. First of all, probably most of the audience will know ISTQB. For those who don't, ISTQB International Organization who is providing who has developed a curriculum for testers, existing of a core part, a specialist part, and an agile part. And the core part exists of foundation level, advanced level, and expert level. And you need foundation level to go to advanced level. You need advanced level to go to expert level. This talk will go only about expert level. So if we focus on that one, that would be that part. And as Erica already explained during the introduction, there are two modules. One of them is test management, and one of them is improving the testing process. The first part I will look shortly to the content of those to those modules. Looking at improving the testing process, that module exists of two parts. Maybe I have to explain what I mean with a part. A part is a separate a training with also a separate exam. So basically this module exists of two parts. One of them is about assessing test processes, and the other one is about implementing test processes. And if you would go to the ISTQB website, you can find all kinds of detailed information about the content of this of these two parts. And if you look at assessing the testing processes, it is basically what the name says. It's looking at on what maturity level is your testing process at this moment. And in this part, you will learn how to assess that. There are several ways of doing that. You can have model-based assessments, analytical-based assessments. We will have discussion about which model to choose and why, and how you would perform an assessment like that. The second part is about implementing the test process improvement. So there's some logical order. Of course, first you have to do an assessment, and then based on the assessment, you can make a plan. And the second part is about implementing test process improvement. So that is how are you going to do that? How are you going to manage the change, because you're going to change an organization. So you look at organizational aspects, you look at critical success factors, and also part of this part is how you can adapt that to different lifecycle modules. So whether how you do that in an agile organization or a DevOps organization, or a more traditional fee model, or a hybrid lifecycle models. That's that part. And if you pass both exams for both parts, you are allowed to call yourself a certified tester on expert level on improving the testing process. The other module is about test management. It's called test management, and that has three parts. The first one is strategic test management, and that is on a bit higher level in the organization. You're not looking on project level, but on organizational level towards testing. How are you going to manage that? Then you look at company policies, you look at missions and strategies and goals, but not on project level, but on company level. The second part is operational test management. That is test management on project level. So more project management essentials. How are you going to evaluate stuff like quality, scheduling, budgeting, and scope? And how are you going to report about that? How are you going to evaluate effectiveness and efficiency? How are you going to manage your direct stakeholders, both internally as externally? And the third part is about managing the test team. That is more the soft skill parts. That is about building, developing, and leading the team. And how you defend the team, and how are you going to create high performance teams. And those are the topics on that part. Again, the same with improving the testing process. If you have done all three parts and passed all three exams for this module, you're allowed to call yourself an ISTQB expert on test management. The question I often get is, what makes ISTQB expert level different? Why is there a difference with the advanced level courses or foundation level courses? And the answer is definitely yes. And to answer that question better, I think we have to step back from testing and look to learning and development. ISTQB makes use of what we call Bloom's taxonomy. And Bloom's taxonomy is developed to see on which level you have to learn something. And Bloom taxonomy is has made a scheme of 6 levels, 6 knowledge levels. And people who are familiar with ISTQB syllabi, they will remember, they will recognize the knowledge levels. The first knowledge level at the beginning, that is also, if you look at the syllabi in ISTQB, they are called K1, K2, K3, K4, K5, K6, and the K stands for knowledge level. So this is the first one. That's about remembering. That is about, can you show what is your memory of previously learned material by recalling facts, by terms, basic concepts, and stuff like that. And if you look at on the internet, you can find all kinds of information about Bloom's taxonomy, and they also use all kinds of verbs to determine the learning objectives. And then the verbs which correspond with this level is about defining, recalling, knowing, telling. So, and it will also be reflected in exam questions. So, for instance, a K1 exam question might be, what is a regression test? And then 4 possible answers with 4 different definitions, and you have to pick what is the correct definitions. So that is recalling facts, remembering. The second level is K2, is about understanding. So the K1 is about remembering. This is about understanding. So can you demonstrate that you understood facts and ideas by organizing, comparing, interpreting, giving the descriptions, that you can explain stuff. So if you look again at the corresponding verbs, it's about explaining, interpreting, comparing, illustrating. So I gave an example of a K1 question for about a regression test. K1 is, what is a regression test? K2 question might be, when would you apply a regression test? So you need to know what it is, but now you have to understand, when should you apply that one? The third level is about applying. So that is about solving problems in new situation by applying your knowledge and your understanding, your knowledge, your facts, your techniques and rules in different ways. So applying, developing, organizing, making use of. And here you will already see that it becomes a bit more difficult to examine that in a multiple choice question. Because how can you examine something with multiple choice and you want to prove that someone can apply something? But you can still do that in a multiple choice question. For instance, you can give some information on testing, some information about a system, and you can say, suppose we are going to use a decision table. If you would apply a decision table on this piece of information, what kind of test cases would be a result of that? And then answer A, you will get a test set of test cases, answer B and answer C and answer D. So there you can prove that someone can really apply a technique on a piece of a description of some information. Basically, what is K1, K2, K3, that is what is being examined at ISTQB Foundation. That is mainly K1, K2, and a bit K3. That is the basic. I always compare this with when you are going for a driver license. It is your the theoretical part. In the Netherlands, you have to do 2 examinations for your driver license. One is the theoretical part, one is a practical part. The theoretical part is basically ISTQB Foundation. What are the rules? And a bit about what would you do in certain situations. If you go to K4, the next level, that's about analyzing. That is examining and breaking information into parts by identifying motives or causes. make inferences and find evidence to support generalizations. So this is about comparing, analyzing, simplifying, distinguishing. And this becomes already a bit more advanced. And this is what is covered in ISTQB advanced level courses. That is covering K1, K2, K3, and K4. And you already see that it becomes more challenging to make multiple choice questions because as you might know, ISTQB has big numbers of people who have had the certificates. And the easiest ways to deal with big numbers of exams is by using multiple choice exams, because we can automate that in correcting them and examining them. They solved that at ISTQB with what we call scenario-based questions. So those are the questions where there's first a part where a scenario description is there, a scenario of a certain context, a certain company, certain project team, a certain problem in a certain a company. And then they say, if you look at this context, what would you do as a testing professional? So you have to take the context into account. The question I wanted to answer was, what makes expert level different? Now, an expert level is also about K5 and K6. And K5 is about, that level is called, is about evaluation. That is about presenting and defending opinions by making judgments about information, about whether ideas are valid or the quality of work based on a set of criteria. And if you look at verbs, it's about agreeing, defending, criticizing, justifying, recommending things as a testing professional. And the last level, according to Bloom, is about creating. Creating is compiling information that you already know in a different way by combining elements of what you know and in such a way that you are creating new things, new patterns or alternative solutions. So for instance, if you look at test process improvement, we explain that there is a model called TMMI. We explain that there is a model called TPI. Maybe you can come up with a new model which fits your situation better by combining elements of TMMI and TPI, combining them with your own experiences. So you're adapting stuff, you're designing stuff, you make original things, you create things. And that is what expert level is also about. If I look at expert level, there are some consequences because it's K5 and also including K5 and K6. And one of them is the exams. If you look at foundation and advanced, it's pretty simple, pretty easy. You can do multiple choice questions. And at ISTQB, there were lots of discussions and they tried they discussed whether it was possible to examine K5 and K6 with multiple choice questions. And luckily they chose not to do that because I don't believe that it's possible. This is, here you need open questions. So if you do an exam expert level, that will consist of two parts. One of them will be multiple choice, covering K1, K2 till K4 level topics. And there will also be two essay questions for the K5 and the K6 topics, where you can show that you will be able to evaluate stuff and that you can create new stuff. That also had big consequences for the training material. Because if you look at a foundation and advanced level training, that is more about instructing. If I look at our course material, we have hardly any slides because most of the topics needs to be discussed. Most of the topics we want to learn by applying them in doing assignments and exercises. We also had to come up with different kinds of exercises. You do if you want to learn someone about remembering, there you can have simple exercises. But if you want to learn something about creating and evaluating, we came up with all kind of workplace assignments. We give our attendants all kinds of assignments which they have to answer in their own setting, in their own projects, in their own companies. Another challenge for us was we have course material for both modules, and they had to be accredited. And also the accreditation was pretty challenging because normal accreditation guidelines by ISTQB was there's an exercise, and for foundation you need to provide a standard handout for the answer. And on expert level, K5 and K6, there is no standard answer possible because that's the whole idea. You have to come up with your own answer. So we had to convince the people who had to accredit our material that it works in that way on K5 and K6 level. It's also has consequences for our participants. Last month, I started a training on expert level, and one of the students asked me, what is the worst thing that could happen during this course? And I said, the worst thing that could happen is if you don't speak up. This is a course where we need each other. We need the students. We need the experience of the trainers. We need the experience of the students. We need to share experiences, and we need to challenge each other. So we are really dependent on the participants and how they interact with each other and with the trainer. And finally, it also had big consequences for the trainers, because on foundation and advanced level, you're more an instructor. And on expert level, as a trainer, you're more a facilitator. It's not about answering questions. No, it's more about make sure that the right questions are being discussed. I don't care personally about the answer. It's about the discussion, how you come to an answer. So here in the picture, you see the 4 accredited trainers is Rob Hendricks on the top left and Patrick Duisers on the left bottom for implementing the testing process, and myself on the top right corner, and Bob van der Burgt is also for test management, the trainer. I do that together with Bob. If I look to the expert level courses, every part will consist of 2 to 4 sessions, and has also some advantages, so we can handle more an international crowd. And as I said earlier, a very big part of the expert level courses is being done outside the contact moments. People have to do a lot of homework and doing workplace assignments, which are being done before the course starts, but also between the course days. We use the results of the workplace assignments. We use that during the contact moments. And as I said, each model has a separate exam. Answering the question, for whom is this? This is a challenging question. I think it is for the person who want to learn more, who are ambitious. This is for people who want to have influence in the direction that an organization or a project goes. Do you want to influence that direction? Do you want to influence that when things are created or when things are implemented or when all kinds of testing activities are executed? Of course, it is for experienced persons. So if you're completely new in test process improvement, I wouldn't recommend the expert level course directly. But if you are already familiar, but you want to improve yourself, you want to share experiences, to do some, you want to do the sparring with other professionals, you should definitely go to expert level. Um, so the prerequisite is, if you look at the ISTQB website, you need to have experience on the topic. I would say, of course. And there's one other hard prerequisite is you need to hold the advanced level test manager certificate. Looking at why you would do this and think like added value, I think that's a personal question. What is the added value of developing yourself? I think that is the developing yourself is the added value. So I think most of the people doing expert level just want to grow, want to get better in their work, want to learn, want to keep on learning, want to share their experiences, want to check whether they do the right thing, want to see where they can improve, where they can be challenged. But of course, there's also one thing you can do it to be recognized. We have also people who like to have the certificates. But then you come to the discussion, what is the value of a certificate? And that's really a personal discussion, I think. I think with the certificates, you can, that's my personal opinion, I think you can show that once, that you can prove that you have invested in your learning and development. For me, that's the value of a certificate. Looking at experiences, as Erica told in the introduction, we have several courses run in Switzerland, but also in Bulgaria, Denmark, and of course in the Netherlands, because we are located in the Netherlands. And most of the times we have an international crowd. Of course, people from the Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, Denmark, Sweden, Bulgaria, England, Egypt. So that is it's a lot of fun to do as a trainer. Also to have all the different companies in one training. I have a different culture from different continents in your training, and people from different sectors, all in the same training. Because what we have experienced is that all different sectors will learn a lot from each other. Feedback we got from our participants and also from the trainers, it's definitely not a one-way training. We have heard from people following a foundation training that they just listened to a trainer and he was only sending. As I said earlier, we hardly have any slides. It's all about interaction. It's about discussions. People really like the discussions. People are surprised, of course, in a positive way. Last month, I told you, I did a course with Bob van den Burg, and the students really liked that Bob and I didn't agree on everything. We sometimes disagree with each other. We sometimes disagree with ISTQB, what is stated in the syllabus. We sometimes disagree with the students. And I think that's okay. That makes the discussions more valuable. And people were surprised, but they really loved that. They also like the assignments and that they can apply directly what they've learned and that they can experiment in their projects and they can ask feedback from the trainer, but also that they are building a network of other experts and other testing professionals, and that they can ask others if they want to have advice or when they want to be challenged. And of course, it's always a lot of fun for both trainers and trainees. Um, As no, I didn't say that. With improve, we have all these modules, and that they have been accredited. I have to tell you, with test management, improving the testing process was developed by Improve itself, and the test manager module was developed with Improve in cooperation with professional testing from Bob van den Burgt. So that's a cooperation, and and he's also one of the trainers. So basically, this is my story. This is what expert level is about. This is why it's different from other trainings, and I hope that I have explained uh, 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 why why you should consider going to a training like this. And then I come to one of my last slides. Are there any questions? I didn't see it in the chat, so I don't know whether Erica has seen any questions.
Well, first of all, thanks a lot, Benjamin, for your interesting presentation. So I really like the good explanation of the different ISTQB levels in relation to the K levels. So yeah, so it was very well shown, the difference to the expert level, so that you then also have the K5 and K6 level. So this was, I think, very helpful. And there are many people, I guess, in the audience who are already very familiar with foundation level, maybe also with advanced level, but expert level is definitely new to a lot of people. So thanks a lot for that. And I see here the question coming in. Which kinds of jobs or activities a QA with advanced and expert level can found in the market? Wow.
Yeah, challenging question. It is not that known yet, expert level. So you will not find that directly in job descriptions. I will see a lot of job descriptions where they ask or require that people are foundation certified or certified on advanced level. I haven't seen it on expert level yet. Not sure whether that will come or not. What I do experience is that more traditional to more agile way of working, whether it's agile or DevOps. And a lot of things have changed, definitely on test management, but also on improving testing processes. And it looks like we forgot a bit about test management and improving testing process the last couple of years. And what we see now is that lots of organizations are struggling with how to remain delivering quality products. So how are we going to manage that? How are we going to manage quality? How can we improve? So there seems to be more demand for expertise on those topics. So I hope that answers your question, Martin.
So Benjamin, do you expect then that the expert level will be known more in the future?
I hope so. I'm not sure, but what I've noticed the last couple of months, there seems to be a bit more. I receive more questions about expert level, both nationally, but more internationally. I got questions from Germany, from England, from Eastern Europe, from Asian countries, from Australia, with all kinds of questions. What is it? Where is it? So it's not directly that now I sell more and more courses and that we're organizing more courses, but I see more questions. With Corona, we started doing virtual trainings, and that makes it a bit easier for international trainings. We do all the trainings at expert level on the virtual level, so we can deliver it all over the world. So next month we will start with implementing the testing process, and in January we do the strategic test management module, And in the next year, we have several others organized in our open schedule. But there's also already some interest from companies to do it as an in-company training. But we will see what happens.
So there is a nice comment. Thank you, Benjamin. Great insights. So
Yeah, you're
good
welcome,
feedback
Jelena.
from the audience.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, good to hear about your plans in the future as a training provider. Because I know that there are not that many accredited training providers for the expert level. So I can imagine that, yeah, you get also requests, more and more requests, and also from outside the Netherlands.
Yeah, it's all over the world.
It's all
And I
over the world.
believe we're the only one, the only training provider who's delivering both courses. And I think we are the only one who has a public schedule for it. So we're pretty proud of that.
That's good. So you have
Yeah.
public schedule and in-house training both.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
And
So I
both
can.
in the physical classroom, if that's allowed again, and virtual or hybrid forms are also possible.
Very good, very
Yes.
good. Yeah, so I can see your excitement for the topic. So I see that you obviously as a trainer very much enjoy being more the facilitator instead of the instructor. Yeah, doing
Definitely.
the instructor. Yeah, okay,
It
I
makes
didn't
it
know that. So
challenging for the trainers, but it's really because you don't have any control where a discussion will go to.
yes, I
So
can
that's
imagine. But I know you meanwhile for a little while, and I know that you like these kind of challenges. Yeah. Okay, let's see if there are any more questions coming in or any further comments. So I can't see anything at the moment. So I think with that, so everyone knows now who they can go to with their questions regarding expert level courses. So yeah, you can directly raise your questions to Benjamin, or you can write your email into the on social media, or write an email to the Congress email address. And I think with that, we are already at the end of this
yes.
interesting session. So thanks a
Okay.
lot again, Benjamin.
Thank
Also,
you.
thanks a lot for to the audience for your interest in ISTQB expert level. Goodbye.
And thank you.
Thank you.